I trapped 372 villagers in this giant building so that I can trade with them indefinitely. And it took me over 300 hours. Why? Because this is subscribed to this channel SMP. Sorry, I meant Superflat SMP. And while you might only need your villagers to get some enchantments, in a Superflat survival world, they enable easy access to a huge array of different blocks and items. So let's create the ultimate trading hall to keep myself supplied with all of those forever. Chapter 1, Layout and Design. July 2023. Yeah, I've been working on this for a while. I first made a list detailing how many villagers of which kind I'd want. Then I made a layout of halls, putting different types of villagers together into their own halls, plus one for storage and other stuff. Next I constructed cages where they would be standing on honey, making them unable to jump out, and I'd have a lever for each villager to lower them by 1 block so they can be zombified and then get them back up to heal them. Then I designed types of those cages for each profession of villager. After that I spent hours designing the floor in the halls so that I could actually, walk. And let me tell you, this took a while. I'm not a fast builder. But finally, I had to spend several more hours counting and calculating how many resources I was gonna need to build all of this. Chapter 2, Resources. To be precise, I need all of these things in shulkers that I can't even open fast enough to be done by the time I'm done talking. Actually, I do. So it's 6:25 PM. Let's see how many resources I can still get today. Kinda forgot to show how much I managed to get on the first day, but here's what I gathered on the second day. Stripped birchwood, oak logs, stripped jungle wood, warped stems, crimson stems, warped hyphae, magenta concrete, purple blocks, gravel, brown concrete powder, and brown mushroom blocks. I've got everything now, except for copper, because I once had a copper farm. That doesn't work anymore, because I lost the zombie. I made name tags to get some zombies back in the farm, then flew thousands of blocks to find a stronghold and waited for them to spawn. And it took me a while, but eventually I managed to get a number of them to the end, from where I transported them to the farm, which finally ended up working again. And I've got it now. That's over 5 stacks of copper blocks, a bunch of zombies trapped here so that I can use the farm again next time. Success! Chapter 3, Villagers. So I'm now at the location where I'm gonna build the trading hall. The schematic is loaded, which is why I can't use a shader. And to start off, to get all the villagers, let's build the villager breeder. And I did it, the breeder is built. I hope it works, and now I just have to actually get the villagers in. And that will definitely be annoying, so here's a 10-second time lapse. Pain, 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 pain. This was pain all the way through. Already got over 40 villagers here, and I built this whole system where my villagers are gonna stand. So now, let's build the floor of this trading hall. Why are these stupid slimes spawning here? I've slime-proofed everything. This is so annoying. It's been half a year since I did it, but if I remember correctly, building the floor went pretty smoothly, so you should be seeing a good time-lapse now. What I do remember is that in the middle of that, I also discovered a new method of transportation. Gliding forward without actually flying. Built it all except for the cages. The cages where the mobs are gonna be, and not the mobs, the villagers. And I did a stream where I put villagers in these first 2 rows, and so in the next few days I'm gonna fill this up. This is gonna take a while. It did take a while, but I streamed a few times and got all of the villagers into their slots without any big inconveniences. So generally, everything was going great. You gotta be kidding me. There's 3 witches in here now. No, 6. No, they turned my librarians into witches who already had traits. This stupid lightning. It took me like an hour to fix that destruction. But then I was able to continue with Fletchers. The pain, the misery, their repetitivity. What's wrong with Fletcher's Bipixel? I'll tell you what's wrong with them. Every sane type of villager either has a specific item that you might want and that they sell on their lowest level where you can just re-roll the trade, like librarians with enchanted books, or they have a few different outcomes of what they might sell you on later levels, but if you need one specific thing, you just have to get a few of them and one is bound to sell it, like fishermen with campfires. Except for Fletchers. They sell over 2 dozen technically useful different tipped arrows only at their highest level. The only alternative way of obtaining these is through Dragon's Breath and potions, which takes ages every time and will destroy any end hub you ever build. So I need to get these villagers by spending 20 minutes getting them to their max level and then probably getting an arrow I don't need. Repeat, I did this for many hours. Many hours. 40 hours. But at least it went, if slow or to plan. This seriously has to be a joke. I am not dealing with Fletchers ever again. I even contemplated giving up and just getting like 10 shulkers of Dragon's Breath at that point. Here's me killing ghasts for the end crystals because of that. But I didn't. I pushed through until finally I did it. Might have been like a week since I last recorded parts of this video. I was burnt out. I also want to drive attention to the one guy that I got to sell an arrow I still needed after 7 hours before I accidentally killed him. I got that arrow again from a different one and left the first one's head here as an eternal ornament of my stupidity. But now I've got a villager for every single type of arrow, also every type of enchantment book. That was comparatively easy, took like 4 hours. This might have taken like 40 hours. So now I only have to zombify them, heal them again, and filled with motivation, I stayed productive. I have 383 golden apples and 383 arrows of weakness. Let's go and zombify these and also heal them. So the way this should work is that I press this, they go down, they get attacked by a zombie. That didn't work the first time. Nothing ever does with villagers. But eventually it did. Okay, he's zombified now, and now I can get him back up, and I can shoot him with the weakness arrow, and feed him the golden apple, and he will be healed. I'm not just gonna do that like 400 more times. It actually all worked surprisingly well and quickly, and luckily, after all of that, nothing bad happened anymore. Expressing rage and fury in a kid-friendly way, voiceover. So now, after an after an unbelievable amount of work hours put into the biggest trading hall I've personally ever seen, with a stack of anvils, there's only one thing that I need to sacrifice my levels for. I named a lot of tags into numbers. That was only like 10%. Let's skip the rest. So now all of my prisoners are numbered. Say I wanna buy a lot of bricks and I take a bunch of emeralds and I run along here and buy bricks until my inventory is full. Then I can remember the number, run back, put everything into a chest and come back to the correct number. But now I have to design one of the biggest things I've ever built. Finally, the hard part was over, and I just had to do some fun building instead of spending almost a month on tediosities. Chapter 4. The exterior. Spans over 5 months. I got invited to try 90 maze. What is the best time so far?
10 minutes first try, 5 minutes second try.
I also had to put the trading hall designing to the side for a while because Mogswamp agreed to visit and tour our server, which I prepared a bunch of stuff for. Well then, I put my stuff away and I'll start in 3, 2, 1. That Mogswamp visit was definitely worth it, but the boost in channel growth I was hoping for didn't happen after he posted about it, so I had to find another way to get that. Okay, it's not this way. I'm getting claustrophobia in here. There's so many ways, and I think my strategy is fine. Now I'm going back. I had started posting daily shorts shortly before this, and they were decently successful, but I didn't post any normal videos and just felt like my popularity would never increase enough.
Bro is gonna take forever.
Come on, okay, this is definitely a dead end. The Mogswamp collaboration had been my ultimate plan to boost the channel, and it hadn't worked. So I just started being lazy, reading books, and doing nothing else all day. Several other real life things happened around that time too, until I even stopped the daily shorts, and everything just felt meaningless. And I feel like I've been here.
I don't think you're doing too bad.
That's interesting, because I do. I feel like I'm just going like back and forth all the time. The thing is, I don't even know I don't even know the direction I'm trying to get. But finally, in January, I had been working on videos for a month again already, and I started trying to design the trading hall.
Look, he's about to find it. He's about to find it.
The interior didn't take long to do, and while the exterior was a lot of work, I made as much progress as possible, even taking my laptop to school to continue in the breaks. Wait, I can use these things to my advantage. I don't think anything is in this direction, so I'll block it off with bedrock so that I don't run in circles. After some live streams, a lot of inspiration from Grian and others, and many hours of more work, I finally had a plan for the entire design of the trading hall that I was happy with, and thus, surprisingly, reached one of my goals. If only after 5 months. Oh wait, is this the end?
Yes, nice job.
Yeah, I think it took me like 15 minutes. I need 112,000 blocks. Chapter 5. Resources. Again, you might not be expecting this, but gathering over 100,000 blocks felt easier than all the other chapters in this video. After months of deprivation from feeling like I was doing something truly meaningful to myself, followed by weeks of planning where everything took longer than expected, I enjoyed just chopping and mining away at a seemingly endless list of items. I mined purple blocks, chopped wood, traded for terracotta, killed squid for glowing sacks, and, well, here's the full list of items I collected, if you really wanna know. But you've already seen me collect items this episode, so let's skip ahead. These shulkers contain over 100,000 items, and all of them will go into building my giant trading hall design. This took at least 50 hours to collect, I think. But as a final step, some of the concrete powder still has to be turned into normal concrete, so I'll take the concrete powder shulkers with me, and because over 100 stacks of concrete have to be converted, I built a custom concrete converter that should also work in Superflat. I'll add the gunpowder to it, remove all of my unnecessary items, and start the machine. After that, I just had to move everything to the trading hall to start. Chapter 6. Building. A lot. You can already see the schematic behind me, and let's start building this giant project by doing the inside. The interior was constructed fairly quickly and without any significant complications, but it still took many hours, and because I wasn't gonna be able to finish everything until the planned upload date, I took a break after it to build this giant graveyard for a different video. Upon returning, I constructed a giant librarian, which took over 7 hours, even though I already had its design 100% perfectly planned and just had to follow that plan. Why am I so slow at building? Yes, it does have a back, I'm not Grian, but then I messed up a little bit. I built this inside of the balcony contraption thing, which works in a really fun way where you stand on the slime block and then you press the button and get launched inside the trading hall. Really fun entrance in my opinion. But then I thought I could put a beacon underneath this. When I went underneath it though, I realized I would have to break 81 bedrock for that. First of all, that took like 4 hours because bedrock breaking is so tedious, and it also lost me a few stacks of pistons and other materials. But more importantly, it broke part of the stuff above it, even though it was encased in obsidian. The explosion still went through the obsidian, which is so stupid. And not only did it break all the floor here, it killed 4 villagers. 5 actually. This, and these 2. I then had to spend another hour turning my breeder back on so that I could get villagers back into their positions. Jump, push. I love this entrance. And now I have to rebuild all the floor and everything here and trade these up to their maximum level again and also heal this guy. Now that's finally done, and it was way too much of a waste of time, because I have only 6 days left to build this whole building and edit a video about it, but actually it's only 4.5 because for 1.5 days I have to do something else, and most of these days are school days, but I'm confident I'll be able to do this. Okay, that's a lie. I in fact did fail, and this video was uploaded 6 weeks late. Failed slightly. But let's start off by designing these towers and also the bigger structures around here, like the towers in the back, and these higher square parts, which will all be magenta colored. I did that, and then, still in hopes that I'd be able to keep up my weekly uploading streak, took a break to make another video in just 3 days to give myself another week to work on this one. Taking breaks in between was a bit of a theme for this whole project if you hadn't noticed yet. But back at it once again, I grinded for many days to build these unreasonably large towers. So enjoy a time-lapse of making them. This took like 50 hours. Next I designed all of the other stuff in the green color palette, and as decoration added solar panels, water tanks, lighting, and these things. As the last step to finally complete this entire build I'd been working on for over half a year, I started work on the green exterior parts. The green walls, the spruce wood, the windows, the big windows with flowers, the balconies, the stone walls. I worked for as many hours as there were per day, maybe even more, constructing the structures of my dreams bit by bit for hours upon hours upon hours. The flat roofs, the angled roofs. Bob the Builder would have been jealous of me putting all of my life and soul into this project. The rooftop entrances, the water tanks, the solar panels, the lanterns, the other stuff. Bob the Builder was gonna lose his job to me in no time. And then he'd be homeless. And he'd ask me to build a home because I'm so damn good. Those were my exact thoughts as I created the biggest roof and the front gate and Squidward. And now I did it. I'm free. Okay, to be honest, I'm burnt out again would be more accurate than free, because it took me like a month to edit this video, the first 93% of which was spent procrastinating. And also I am green because I didn't build the back. I just couldn't do it anymore. I wanted to finally get this video out, but I promise I'll build it eventually. But now a 30-second trading hall tour before all the zero attention span people click off. Yes, the entrance did just malfunction. I got all the villagers, of course, stations in between here where I can stash emeralds, craft stuff, use a stone cutter and use an ender chest, a lot of storage at the end of every row where I can store a bunch of stuff that I buy from villagers, a giant room of item frames where I'm at some point gonna build a giant world map of the whole server, and more map space because I wanna make a small map of the server every year for the next 20 years inside this hall. Also great chandeliers designed by Craft Aurora, go subscribe to her. Mogswamp inspired wall. Specific items that are only sold by some people are on the floor in item frames so that I know which of them sell it and which of them don't. And with that, please subscribe and watch my Megabase videos to my left, because they're good, and that series is gonna continue. I even bought real life equipment with real life money for it. It's gonna be epic. I'm excited. There's no better feeling than finishing a giant build, or a giant build's front side.